not to be a mother is the front line and the bottom line of women's freedom and liberation.
I was 9 years old when the Islamists took power in Iran. Suddenly our lives turned upside down. Women became second-hand citizens and were forced to cover themselves in long dresses and cover their heads with a veil. Men were given the right to have 4 wives. The value of the women's testimony in the courts became half of the men's. Abortion and birth control pills were banned. I'm here today on behalf of Iranian women to warn you to take fascism and the power of religious institutions seriously.
Not the church, not the state, women must decide their fate.
Not the church, not the state, women must decide their fate.
Not the church, not the state, women must decide their fate.
Not the church, not the state, women must decide their fate.
It is possible to stop this fascist assault on women. It is possible. But it is not possible by constricting ourselves to choosing between candidates where 1/2 of them are fascist lunatics who sometimes refer to women as host bodies, and the other half are led by a president, Biden, who will not even say the word abortion. We cannot win by accepting defeat in advance. And we have to be honest, this is what way too much of the so-called leaders of the so-called women's movement have done already. They have accepted that Roe v. Wade will fall and abortion rights will be gone. No, this has to stop. Women are not incubators.
They are not.
Women are not property of the state. Women are full human beings. And we have to go out today and going forward, all of us here, and wake up and organize and mobilize the one force that is powerful enough to stop this fascist assault. And that is the masses of people rising up in their millions, relentlessly again and again, filling the streets with our fury, shutting down the campuses and walking out, shutting down the freeways, taking over everywhere again and again, and making clear to the fascists on the court and everywhere else that if they try to take this right away, if they try to slam women backwards, their society will be prevented from functioning at all. And if we wanted an example of what can be accomplished by people who refuse to accept the unacceptable and who dare to go out and challenge others, look at the women of Colombia. Look at the women of Argentina. Look at the women in Mexico. This is why we wear this green bandana. If you do not know, those are deeply Catholic countries, very repressive states, very patriarchal. Places where abortion has been criminalized for years, women sent to prison for miscarriages. But the women down there went in the streets, not once, but again and again, relentlessly. Sometimes 1 million strong, and they waved this green bandana, and they kept coming back, and they tore down those laws, and they decriminalized abortion. Through their struggle, they made what everybody thought was impossible, possible. And after today, we're going to organize to bring more people out. April 8th, we're going to spread this green bandana into the workplaces, hospitals, schools, everywhere. It'll be a day of green. And April 9th, we are coming back to this park thousands strong. And across this country, thousands strong. And from there, we are doubling down and doing it again and again until we flood the streets and bring this society to a halt. Because they must not be allowed to shatter the lives of women and slam history backwards.
I want to give a big shout out to our hermanas or compañeras from Dominican Women Development Center who showed up.
Alice Walker wrote, "Did you have a genius of a great great-grandmother who died under some ignorant and depraved overseer's lash? Or was she required to bake biscuits for a lazy backwater tramp when she cried out in her soul to paint watercolors of sunsets? Or was her body broken and forced to bear children who are more often than not sold away from her? 8, 10, 15, 20 children, when her one joy was the thought of modeling heroic figures of rebellion in stone or clay. It is a question with an answer cruel enough to stop the blood. Walker's visionary words call up a brutal history of institutionalized rape and forced childbearing inflicted on enslaved black women. She skewers the American as apple pie terrorism that shaped racial capitalism and enriched white supremacist wealth and theft. There is a direct through line between these terrorist trolls and the Christian fascist supermajority on the Supreme Court.
We want to just have control of our own bodies, and that's a fucking right.
In 2014, roughly 7 in 10 abortion patients in the United States were between 18 and 29 years old. That's us, right here at UC Berkeley.
Because the desire to control wombs and birth giving is the very definition of patriarchy, power over women's bodies has always come first. The morning after Hitler was elected, for instance, his very first act was to padlock the family planning clinics and declare abortion to be a crime against the state.
So I remember George Tiller as my older next door neighbor growing up in Wichita, Kansas. And I remember the rage I felt when I heard that he was assassinated on May the 31st, 2009. In 2016, inspired by George's life, I joined the board of directors of Trust Women. If you were alive today, I believe that in body and spirit, he would join us in the streets, these streets, to resist and defeat the current assault on women, demonstrate in word and deed that every woman and every girl should have a future as full, equal human beings, and that indeed forced motherhood is female slavery.
I'm 15 years old and I'm angry. We are done being polite. We are done feeling hopeless and fearing that our right to abortion could be taken away at any moment. So let's all keep up this fucking fight, because it's gonna be a long one, but it's important. Abortion on demand and without apology.
If one woman hurts, if one woman cries, if one man bleeds, rise. Up, get up, dance up, get up, sing up, get up, change everything. Up, get up, dance up, get up, sing up, get up, change everything.
Fui violada. Sufrí por años. Fui burlada por la gente, por mis vecinos, por mi familia. Pero lo más malos fueron los que hicieron las leyes que prohíben el aborto. Y por eso hoy he parado de llorar. Este es un día que debemos empezar a salir a las calles a gritar fuerte. Tengo el derecho a decidir. Tengo el derecho al aborto. Porque es mi vida. Porque es mi cuerpo. Porque nosotras tenemos el derecho a decidir. It's my choice.
I'm tired of doing nothing, and that is why I'm here right now. I know a lot of students right now, they talk about it, they're like, this is wrong, but we need to be here. We need to make this history happen right now.
If you can make a baby, you get to choose not to have it.
If you can make a baby, you get to choose not to have a baby.
I am sick of fascism and hate. I am sick of indiscriminate bombs falling. I am sick of guns. I am sick from the destruction of our precious earth, from pillaging and raping and spilling and ravaging and extracting of our forests and seas and land. I am sick of patriarchy. No one, no man, no church, no state has the right to tell me, to tell you what we can and cannot do with our body. They cannot legislate what goes on in it. They cannot enter it without consent or meddle with it or determine what it needs. This is my womb. This is my vagina. This is my choice. Everyone does not want or need to be a mother.
That dictum was created by patriarchs to keep women in their place, to mechanize childbirth, to use it as a form of oppression and suppression rather than a choice of love. The way we win is in the power of our love, in our unity, in our solidarity, in our sisterhood, our brotherhood, our bravery, our determination, and in our numbers. So say it with me. Abortion on demand. Without apology. Abortion on demand. Without apology.
As bans started rolling out throughout the country, the initiators of this movement looked to the streets and saw that no one was there. The streets were silent. They turned to look to the pro-choice movements, to Planned Parenthood, to NARAL, to the National Abortion Federation, to the Women's March that is happening today. And they were disheartened to learn that those groups all had decided that being in the streets does not matter, that we should just sit back and sit down and wait for Roe to be overturned because that's our destiny. And here's the problem that we have with that. Here in the US, we have laws for bodily autonomy. This means that no person can use any part of your body without your consent. Even if you are dead, and it would save countless lives, no one can use your blood, harvest your organs, use your tissues or your marrow for their benefits without your consent. And if these laws are passed, if Roe is overturned, then what we are saying is, as a nation, is that women have less rights than a corpse. This is not a crisis that we can donate our way out of. And this is not a crisis that a one-off protest is going to solve, no. This demands sustained action. This demands noise. This requires you. We need you to stand up, to rise up, and demand that abortion remains safe, legal, on demand, and without apology.